Hello, welcome back. This is Maurice Gimba, and today I'm going to show you how we can place Gable columns on this particular portal frame in COMOSYS. We're picking from where we left. Now, to rotate, let me just rotate this so that I can be able to see it on a better angle. Now, to rotate, just point on the point of interest, like on this particular point, and the left, but I'll press my right button and hold and turn. Or similar, you can just click any part, then right click and hold and turn like that. So I want to place my model like this. Now, to place the Gable columns, as you can see, we only have the middle grid. So we want to add other two grid lines so that we can snap, or the grids can accommodate extra columns at the Gable side. Now, I'm going to double click on the grid line here to bring back our dialog box properties for grid line. Now, in here, I'm going to add other columns on the Gable side on the Z axis. Now, in here, I'm going to add 5 of them, because let me just first of all cancel that. I'm adding 5 because I'm adding 2 on top of the 3 to make it 5, because I'm adding 2 extra columns on the Gable side. So I'm going to add 1 here and 1 here, making a total of 5. So the center one will remain because that one we have in place already. Now I'll go ahead and double click right there, and this grid line dialog box for grids will come up. Now I want to add 5 here instead of 3. I want to change that to 5 and change the base span measurement, or the dimensions here. I'll divide 7.5 or 7500 by 2, so that I'll get 3750. Now 3750, by that I'll be able to split this into 5. Now if I go ahead and click apply, I'll be able to see I have my grids in place. But the way of my structure, so that should not worry you. What we can do, or what you should do, just select the whole model like that, then right click and come to move. You can use move special, or you can just click on move, then zoom closer to the bottom end here. So the moment you see a red snapping spot, just snap on that spot and just move it to the right position, or right intersection right here. I'll place it right there. So you just give it some time to place everything on that spot. Let's just give it some time to place it right there. I'll zoom out, right click and exit that move command. I'll click interrupt, then click on empty screen to deselect. Now we have our model, or our portal frame on the exact points on the grid line. Now we want to place our Gable columns. The Gable columns will run from this spot all the way to that spot, then one other one from here to that, another one from here to that. Now we want to first of all create the views first of all, so that we can be able to see or do it conveniently. Now first of all, I have to create the views so that I'll be able to place them right from the Gable side accurately. Now to create the views, I'll click on the grid line, right click and I'll come to create the views here. Then first of all, click on the grid line, right click and come to create views. So how do we create the views? I'll come all the way to grids here and come to create views on grid. I'll click create views on grid. I'll click on that. So all these views have been created. Now I want to go straight to grid line 1, or view on line 1. On line 1, I'll double click right there, and I'll be able to see we have this in place. Now from here, I'll be able to see the grids, but I'm not able to see my grid lines. So let's check another view at the Gable. I'll double click on that, and we have this in place. So that's the right view we need. We shall just go back to our view from line 1 and just place our grid line from that spot. Now, as it is now, it's a guesswork, because you want to know exactly which point at what point at what point I will end up at 3750. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to construction line here, under edit. I'll come to under edit, I'll come to construction line. I'll click on that drop down arrow and pick on construction line. So I'll snap right here, move all the way up here, and snap right on top here. Now I have my construction line right there. So I'll select that line, right click and come to special copy and click linear. So I want to copy this construction line on this direction at a distance of 3750. Now, if you take a look here, my movement will be on the positive side because the x-axis is pointing in that direction, the y-axis is pointing up. Now I'll change this negative sign to positive, like that, and I'll remove that. So I'll go ahead and click copy, and I'll have my construction line in place, like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another one. I'm going to select on that, right click and come to copy, and add another one. I'll go ahead and click copy, and I'll click another copy right there and click close. So I have my grid line on the Gable side in place. So what I'm going to do, I'll go to steel and pick on the steel column, then I'll snap at the bottom end here and move all the way to that spot. Then snap another one there. Now, they're all not reaching to the bottom end of this rafter. So for me to be accurate and doing the right thing, I have to check the distance from here to here. Though I can just double click here and extend this by some distance or by some measurement. I'll add 2 meters extra to make it 7. I'll go ahead and click apply, but it's way off the target. So I'll reduce this to 6 meters, so the rest I'll be able to add a bit by bit so that I hit the bottom end of the rafter accurately. So let me first of all check the distance between the top and the bottom end of the rafter. Now I'll right click and come to measure. I'll click on empty screen to deselect the column. I'll right click and come to measure. I'll click on measure, then click on the top end of this point and move to the bottom end of this rafter, and I'll be able to see until up to the bottom end is 197 meters. Millimeters. Now that 197 I'll add in here. I'll add here. So I'll make it 6197 here, 6197, so that we hit the bottom end of the rafter like that. So I'll copy this to the other end. I'll just pick copy, snap from that spot and move it to this spot here and place it right there. So that's it. Now I'll come to the middle column at the gable side. I'll double click on it just to add some extra height. I'll type 6 meters there and click apply right there. Now I want to check the distance between this top end to the bottom of the haunch. Now I'm going to right click and pick on measure distance and snap on that spot and check the distance between the top of this column to the bottom end of this apex haunch. That is 401. So I'm going to add 401 on the actual height of this. So on 61, I'll add 401. So we'll make it 6401. So I could just make it 4402 and apply. So that's it. It's hitting right at the bottom end there. Now I have this in place. Now we want to switch back to our original view or our original isometric view. So I'll come here under views and double click on the 3D view. So we have this in place. So the orientation of these columns at the gable side is not the orientation that we really need to make our connection nicely done. So apart from that, the profile name and the profile type is not the exact size we wanted. So I'll double click on it once again and change that profile type. So to change that, as it is now, it is HEA 300, and we want to change that to IPE. Now I'll come to IPE, I'll come to profile catalog here and select profile catalog. We have all the catalogs here. Now I'll look for the IPE. First of all, let me just minimize this HEA catalog, I'll come to IPE. I want to pick on IPE 300. It is here, and go ahead and click select and give it an OK here and click OK. So I've changed it, and I'll do the same to this. I'll do the same to this. Now I'll just double click the first one and copy this. Just highlight and copy. So the moment I copy that, I'll cancel that, double click on this, then come here and paste it right here. Once you paste it, apply and give it an OK. Do the same to this one. Also double click and come to profile name. Just paste it inside here, then click apply and give it an OK. Now I want to rotate this. There's another shortcut you can use to rotate this, maybe Control E, or Control Q. You can use that. But for the time being, what we want to, the way we want to rotate it, let me just undo that so that we take it back to its original position. Its original position is right there. Now, it's right there. Let me just rotate it. This is its original position. So we have this in place. So in the process of undoing, I've undone everything. So we have this in place, and that position is quite correct, and we can just make our connection correct. We can just start placing the base plate, and also we can place the wind connection. We can place the wind connection between the rafter and the gable columns. So what can we do? We can copy the same the other side. We just select on that, press Control, select on that, then right click and come to Special Copy, click Linear, and snap at the bottom end here. The moment you see the red snap, that means we are in the right position. So we'll move all the way to this particular point here and snap on the same position until we see the red snap symbol. So we'll click on that spot, and the moment you click on that, we'll be able to see on the y-axis, you can see the full length has been indicated here. So what we want to do, we want just to copy one of this to this far end. So we'll go ahead and click copy. So the moment you click copy, you'll be able to see we have the columns at the opposite side of this particular structure. So the next thing remaining is to create the connection between the rafters and the columns. So that one I'll show you when on the next tutorial, when I'll be showing you how you can place the purlins and the cladding rails. So let's meet then.